1 year ago, I decided to attempt 12 30-day experiments over the course of 12 months. From drinking more water to taking cold showers and counting calories. Each of them tapped into a different area of self-development that I was curious about. What I hadn't anticipated when I started was just how difficult that process would be and how much it would teach me about building habits.
What I can say that I've learned is that breath work is really fucking hard. There are some days when I'm just not in the mood.
My brain will come up with all these excuses for why I shouldn't, so I want to make it as easy as possible and do the most painful thing first, which at the moment for me is cardio. So while in my last video I talked about some of the general lessons I learned from that experience, in this video I want to get more tactical and give you actionable advice for how to get your personal habits to stick. In a couple months, I'll be releasing a habit course going into even more depth about the content in this video, so if you want to get updates, sign up for my newsletter at mattdiavella.com. I first got interested in self-development back in my junior year of college. What really started as me just trying to get better at talking to girls led me to change literally every aspect of my life. I started going to the gym daily, gaining over 20 pounds of muscle in under a year. I learned everything I could about personal finance, eventually paying off 6 figures of student debt. And while I never really did figure out how to talk with women, I did string enough coherent sentences together to convince my wife, Natalie, into marrying me.
You find yourselves here at the world-famous Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So while it might be easy to look at my life now and think that I've always had my shit together, I truly haven't. If you met me years ago, you'd have met a scrawny kid who was bad at talking with girls, who was terrible with money. But I did have one thing going for me, and it was this deep desire to want to improve my circumstances in life. And as I look back now, I realize that that desire was paramount to getting started. And the one thing that you need to know is that your past does not define your future. It doesn't define where you can go. So if you let go of that baggage, you can begin to change. When I first got into self-development back in college, I read dozens of books, listened to audio tapes, and watched inspiring videos that truly had a positive impact on my life. But if there's one thing that you can take away from this video, it's that watching this video isn't enough. Until you take action, you're standing still. And that was a lesson that I relearned last year as I started to get into these 30-day experiments, starting back in January when I did my very first one. I decided to quit sugar. After a month of indulging my sweet tooth, I developed a pretty bad habit of snacking. And early into this experiment, I learned an important lesson about habit change. You need to control your environment, not yourself. I have the self-control of a 4-year-old. When I have snacks in the house, I will eat them. Cookies, ice cream, chocolate, forget about it. So I knew that if I wanted to quit sugar, I would have to get them out of my house. I just don't have the discipline to resist them. And if you eat most of your meals at home like I do, this is the single most important thing you can do to change your diet and to change your eating habits. Simply don't bring the junk into your house to begin with. But apart from food, there are other ways that you can change your environment to help you to make your habits stick. The one thing that really stands out to me was creating calendars and then putting them in really prominent places that I could not ignore in my home. So every day I would feel compelled and be reminded to continue these habits. For 30 days of cold showers, that meant it was right next to our shower. For 30 days of meditating, I stuck it next to our bedroom. Day 5, that's 5 hours of meditating so far. Just wasting my days away.
I was gonna say, imagine all the videos you could have done in 5 hours.
For 30 days of breath work, I kept a small note card near our bed. There are a couple other ways to create these kinds of reminders. The night before a workout, you can pre-prepare your workout clothes. When I did a 7-day digital minimalism experiment, I stuck reminders to the rules I had set for myself on my computer. This was just a reminder to me not to check email again and again throughout the day. And I often leave my protein container on the kitchen counter in a prominent place as a subtle nudge to drink a protein shake each day. By changing your environment, you can change your behavior. Sometimes a reminder is all you need to keep the streak going. As I'm sure you're well aware, building New Year's resolutions and habits is incredibly difficult, and often when we try, we fail. So you might be wondering, how was I able to build so many habits over the course of a year, even if it was just for 30 days at a time? And really, I have to say it comes down to accountability. I released a video earlier this year called 12 Habits for Life. In that video, I talked about how building good habits has positively impacted my life, and it's also when I first publicly stated that I would be attempting to build 12 30-day habits in 2019. So this year, in an effort to try to learn more, but also to make myself feel very uncomfortable, I'm gonna be doing 12 30-day experiments. Suddenly, I felt accountable to myself and to those who watch my videos. I shouldn't call you a bitch, but you're being a bitch. Now, would you guys really care if I halfway through decided to quit and give up? Probably not. I don't think anybody would even notice. But now that I had said it out loud, I knew it. It was in this public forum, and I just felt so much more compelled to want to stick through with it. And then as I started to try these 30-day challenges and post them online, I heard from people in the comments and on social media asking me what my next challenge would be. As the months went by, my accountability to these 30-day challenges grew. But you don't need to have a YouTube channel or an audience to find that same kind of accountability in your life. So as my friends and family started to find out about these challenges, they too started asking questions about what I was currently working on. And really what they were asking for is what kind of agony was I currently going through? Was it cold showers, waking up at 5 a.m., or quitting coffee? And I think what you'll find is when you do this for yourself, when you start to tell your family and friends about these things that you're working on and trying to improve, you'll find way more encouragement instead of people criticizing you. You'll find people that want you to win and they want you to succeed. And them talking about it with you every time they see you, you knowing that those conversations are gonna happen, are a powerful way to keep that habit going. In addition to going macro and sharing it publicly, you can also go micro and find one person to become your accountability partner. They could be somebody that you pay, like a personal trainer or life coach, or it could be a spouse or friend that have a similar goal to you. So about 6 months ago, Natalie came to me and asked me to show her around the gym at some of the equipment that was foreign to her. Up until this time, she had primarily only done classes. So I agreed, and for the first time, I had a gym partner. We went to the gym every day together, 5, sometimes 6 days a week. And what I realized was how powerful it is to have that accountability partner with you to encourage you and push you to go to the gym, especially when you don't want to.
Having you there as someone who kind of knows the gym and was able to introduce me into a few things, so I knew how to use some of the equipment, totally took that social anxiety away, and has allowed me to over time make a regular practice of going to the gym. Even now without you. Like I think I went to the gym with you every day for a month, and then after a month when I felt comfortable, more relaxed, like I was able to go without you. And that habit has stuck, which has been really awesome.
The biggest benefit I found was that it reduced our ability to create excuses. If one person was feeling shitty, they didn't feel like going to the gym, the other person would give them that loving kick that they needed. And when we were at the gym, I was most surprised by how suddenly my form improved and how I no longer skipped my ab workout or cardio. Having someone there to work with you will keep you accountable in ways that you hadn't even realized. So there's one video that I made last year that seemed to resonate with people in a way that I hadn't expected. It was called the 2-day rule. And it's a powerful approach to habit change that will give you the best chance at getting them to stick. I implemented the 2-day rule last year when I attempted to build 3 habits at the same time in my video, How to Hack Your Habits. With the 2-day rule, it's very simple. I don't let myself take 2 days off in a row. I can take 1 day off, I can take multiple days off in a week, but having 2 days off in a row, I know from my experience that it's so much more likely for me to have 3, 4, 5 days off. And then I completely lose track of the habit. So I just had a really long full day shoot. I didn't have a chance to go to the gym in the morning, and I skipped yesterday. So that means that according to the 2-day rule, today I have to go to the gym. It made the entire process much easier, more enjoyable, and gave me guilt-free breaks when I needed it. By using the 2-day rule, we can leverage these moments when we need rest, when we need some time off, but also make sure that we don't break that momentum by skipping day after day after day. When you're first building a habit, you can kickstart behavior change by consistently showing up each and every day for the first 30 days. As long as you're not overdoing your daily commitment, like by working out so much that you're too sore to get out of bed the next morning, doing the habit every day can help you build momentum. You want to get to a place where you don't even have to think about the habit. That's truly when it forms. And while it might not feel like it's possible, you will get to a point where it's more difficult not to do the habit. So if there's one thing that I've learned over the past 12 months of building habits, but really from the past 10 years of my own personal development journey, it's that the process never ends and that there will always be a struggle, and that's okay. But the sooner that you learn that and the sooner that you realize that, you can start to show up and actually enjoy it. Enjoy those moments where you're just not getting it, where you have to try over and over and over again to get it right. That's okay. You're gonna fail, you're gonna screw up. Just get used to it. But if you show up with that positive attitude every day and just keep trying to do better, that's really all you can ask of yourself.
That was cool.
So real quick before I wrap things up, as you might have heard, there are really intense fires raging through Australia right now. It's really sad what's happening there, and I wanted to do my own small part in trying to help out. So all of the ad revenue from this video is going to be donated towards the efforts to recover as well as fight these fires. And if you guys wanted to contribute for yourselves, I'll leave a link or two down in the description to make it easy for you. Even if you contribute $5 to $10, that would really mean the world to me. Australia's become like a second home to me. And I just know how wrecked a lot of my family and friends who live in Australia are because of this. So if you could help out, that would really mean a whole lot to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.